Hi, Bill Doherty, co-founder of the Doherty Relationship Institute. I want to talk in this video about the pursuer-distancer pattern or the pursuer-withdrawal pattern and how I think about it in a way that may be somewhat different from what's very common in the field. I won't even go into what it is. You know, if you're watching this video, you know what that is. How we think about it, though. I think we have moved away from the original conception, which was way back in the 1960s, which was a systemic pattern. Somebody more pursuing somebody, wanting more connection, say the other wanting a little bit less, maybe even just a little bit different, and then they begin to polarize. It was a systemic idea. What it's morphed into, I think, is more of, in addition to systemic, it's like an individual deficit approach, which tends, I think, overwhelm the systemic. And that is, oh, this pursuer here, this person has anxiety issues, they may have trauma, they have attachment injuries from their past, so if you're locked into a pursuer, there's deficits with you that have to be addressed. Or the distancer, the withdrawal, afraid of intimacy. Why afraid of intimacy? Again, attachment issues, trauma, family of origin issues. And so it's really, and once we lock in on, there's an impaired person here, then we're likely to lose the systemic part of it, okay? We sort of tilt the treatment towards getting somebody fixed. And what I want to say is, although sometimes you do have an impaired person, and I've certainly had those cases, that's not, I don't think, the most common presentation. I think the most common is that they got locked into this stuff and it took on a life of its own. So if you have a systemic approach, from my perspective, you work first at that level. You see if they can make some adjustments that help them break out of this pattern. They understand it together as a pattern they're locked into. You normalize it for them. And then there are things like I've helped a couple where the interaction, the particular way it comes out. So again, in my approach, you look at where does it show up? Very specific, not high level, I want more, I want less of this. No, how does it show up? So I'm thinking of a couple that showed up at breakfast. One of the few times they had some time together because they worked different shifts and all that kind of thing. And the wife wanted more, let's catch up with each other. The husband wanted to read the paper. And why are you reading the paper? Don't you want to talk to me? Blah, blah, blah. And you could see how that goes. What I had them do is both articulate, yeah, we're caught up in this thing. And they made an adjustment where they have a cup of coffee in the morning before the paper. And that didn't resolve all of their problems, but it gave them hope that they could break the pattern without either person, this is my point, having to be labeled as having some deficits that may take a long time to work through. So I start with systemic, and I try to hold on to systemic, and I don't go from the systemic level like immediately to somebody has a deficit here.